Alright guys, welcome to StrangePlay. My name is Elliott.
I'm Rik.
And today I'm going to be asking questions. We're talking about a game called Echo.
Yes, we are.
A little game made by a small team of developers and artists and very talented people called Ultra. And to start with, I'm just going to ask you, what the fuck is this game? Because I've only seen the trailer for it, and it looks pretty fucking bonkers.
Yeah, bonkers is a really good term, actually. I'm describing it as a survival horror stealth action game. It's
right.
Fucking odd.
There's a lot of genres there. It's like a Weatherspoon's menu.
There's two characters in it. You play as N, and she talks to her AI, London. It's got some incredible voice acting in it. The voice acting is fucking on point. And the story unfolds as it goes on. It's a bit of a character piece because there's only two people talking.
Yeah.
And from what I can gather at the beginning, I don't want to give too much away, but you go to this place called the Palace, which is a legend, basically, from centuries ago. You've gone there with the sole purpose of bringing someone back to life.
Okay.
But it doesn't quite go right. And
never does?
No. And like when you arrive, the palace is just powered down completely. And then you try and do your thing, and the palace powers on. But it keeps pulsing. So it'll like power down, it'll reset, then there'll be a blackout. And then every time the power comes back after a blackout, something's changed. And then eventually, you're fighting yourself, which is really weird.
Okay, eventually you're fighting yourself.
Yeah,
you don't start out that way.
It takes a good hour or so to kick in.
Right.
Like the beginning is really slow.
Yeah.
Like really fucking slow. But it's a character piece. There's a lot of conversations between N and London.
Yeah. So it's
really
similar to like Firewatch in that regard.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the action kicks off. And what's happening in the palace is it's creating these things called echoes.
Right.
And they're basically mindless clones of you.
Oh, okay. Because from the trailer I was looking at this thinking, is this some kind of wonderful homogenized future where race does no longer exist and we're all just one and we all love each other and get along well? But that's not the case, is it?
No, it
never is.
Mindless clones.
Yeah.
So what happens is, while the power's on, you're doing stuff, and then there's a blackout, and it reboots, and then the echoes start doing what you were doing. So if you're jumping over ledges, next reset they can jump over ledges.
Right.
While you're crouching, they can crouch. If you shoot them, they will start shooting you on the next cycle. So that's how they learn. It's kind of like a progressive AI.
Right.
But it resets every cycle. So the way it works, it's really weird. Like, it's really sporadic. Like when the blackouts happen, it seems to be you have to do shit. Like, you can't just have a time where you
can't just like sit around and like twiddle your thumbs for a determinate amount of time until the blackout happens, and then
like you have to do stuff that triggers it.
Right.
So like I don't know if you have to get to a certain part of the map, if you've got to kill a few of them, just do enough to sort of give them something to do the next turn. But then if you have it where like you're using improv weapons to kill them, you're shooting them, and then the next phase they're coming at you. If you don't shoot them, but take a couple out and do stuff, then they'll stop shooting you. So it's possible to reset them depending on your play style.
Okay. So if you've gone in a bit like hard and loose with things, all guns blazing, then you can sort of just chill back for a little bit, and they'll cool off.
Yeah, basically during the next cycle.
Yeah. One second. Let's just talk about the palace for a little while, because as I was watching the trailer, it seemed that the palace is almost like a fractal building of sorts, in that like it just seems to extend and expand in multiple different directions. Is that the case, or is it just like these are just mechanical things that open up and change the layout?
The palace itself is essentially a planet, or the hollow of a planet.
Right.
That's how it gets described at the beginning, because I don't want to give anything away. And it's just deep in, so it's not infinite. The whole thing just keeps going down. So it's seemingly infinite.
Yeah.
But it changes as when the power comes on, doors and stuff will open, which is what you see in the trailer where the floor's descending.
Yeah.
It's because the power comes on, so the lift goes up. But then when the power shuts off again, everything resets itself, and then the power comes on again. So it's just
okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like sort of like an Escher painting that sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the mechanics of playing the game, like because I noticed in the trailer that she's sort of like seems to be surrounded by like a bubble or something, that has like different colors on it at certain points when certain things are happening, I guess.
Yeah, it's essentially your radar, I suppose. It tells you which direction echoes are in if they're close to you.
Yeah.
And then the closer they get to you, the bigger the like the pattern on the sphere builds up. When they're blue, it just means they're near you. When they're yellow, it's aware of you. And when it's red, they're chasing you.
Right. Okay.
And they chase you a lot if you keep fucking up. There's an instant kill, which is just a takedown, but you pretty much die. Like, you can take one hit, and because when they come and get you, they grab you.
Yeah.
And then you've got to press circle to push them off.
They're very handsy, are they?
Very. But then if they get on you again instantly, fucking done.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking
So
frustrating.
they're basically like one chance to get away from them.
Yeah, and
once
then
you break the grip.
And then like 20-30 seconds to cool down before you can get done again.
Okay.
It gets really annoying.
Yeah.
Because if one of my problems for it is the checkpoint system. At some point in the game, about halfway through, they start to introduce save points in the rooms, because they are fucking huge.
Yeah.
Because the way it was working is, if you could go into a room and progress almost to the end, you could do what you need to do and then fuck up and you have to do the whole thing again.
That's annoying.
I've screamed at the TV numerous times playing it.
So what kind of things do you need to do when you're in these rooms?
There's two objectives basically that differ. So you're constantly trying to progress and get further into the palace, and in order to do it, you've got to get through locked doors. So one of the objectives that you need to do is you need to find a key that's on a pedestal, take it out, find the other pedestal, put it in, unlock the door.
Right.
Sometimes there will be two that you need to get, so you've got to get two keys at the same time and put them in two pedestals to unlock the door.
And you have to get them at the same time, can't do them one by one?
No, one by one.
Oh.
But then
Is it more efficient to do them both at the same time?
Yeah, so I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Then there's one that's really annoying where there's these lamps and they're blue, and when you go near them, your suit sucks the energy in, and like you need to collect lots of lights basically.
Yeah.
And it starts off with like collect 12, and then you run around and you collect 12, and then it's like 24, 34, and it's like for fuck's sakes. And it's really annoying because, again, like I said, if you fuck up, you've got to do it all again.
Yeah.
Unless you can find a save point and you run through it. And it's these objectives that are my biggest problem with the game. Because for the first few hours, it was really interesting.
Yes.
It's really, really interesting.
Like while you're unraveling things.
Yeah, like she's talking, and for the first 45 minutes, it takes about 45 minutes till everything starts to get weird in the palace, and then about an hour till shit actually happens. But it's really tense. And then for an hour or two after that, again, it's really tense. It's like really atmospheric, and it's just awesome. It's like the whole thing plays out like a really dark episode of Doctor Who.
Okay,
and
that's interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I'm into the story, because it's a very Doctor Who story.
Yeah.
It's very cool sci-fi. And then you open the locks, and then you collect the things, and you go further down, and then you make your way to the next big room, and then you get the keys and open the locks and move on to the next room, and then collect the lights, and then
so
at
some point it starts getting repetitive.
It's incredibly repetitive. Like, the gameplay is so repetitive.
Do you feel as though they sort of unlock too many mechanics too early on? So if they saved some maybe for later, then it would feel less so.
Well, that's the thing. Like, certain mechanics are unlocked progressively.
Yeah.
Like, they introduced the idea that the echoes can't go over water, and then a little bit later on they introduced the idea that they can't open doors.
Yeah.
But it's just this constant, repetition of objectives. Like, in games, it's really annoying when you have to do the same kind of objectives again and again and again.
Yeah,
and
I
again.
mean, both you and I played World of Warcraft, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
similar story with questing in that. It's basically the same thing, like 5 different things over and over and over again.
Yeah, but this is 2.
Yeah.
And all they do is make the rooms bigger.
Yeah.
And make more lights to collect.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, sometimes it's cool. If you get into a rhythm, it's great. Because it's kind of janky.
Right.
Like,
in what way?
I've found, like, sometimes when I shoot, even though you're aiming, it will miss, but you're really close. If you push them to the floor and then try and shoot them instantly, when they hit the floor, for some reason they get some invincibility frames that last until they start to get up.
Right.
Now, your gun is attached to your suit, so it works on energy.
Yeah.
So you only have like 1 energy cell, then 2 to start with, and then you have to collect, again, more collectibles. You have to collect 5 energy cells to create a new energy point on your thing.
Yeah.
But once you've fired, it's done. So you're very limited to your ammo. You can get ammo back, like you get energy back from, there's these lights with swirly things around them everywhere.
Yeah.
That you can just run past and they'll give you energy back. And you always have 1 bit of energy. It just takes a while to recharge.
Okay.
But it takes so long to recharge that if these things are coming at you,
then you haven't got much chance anyway.
Yeah, and if you miss a shot,
you're
fucked.
So if you mistime it when they're on the floor, then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, then you're knackered. And there's a mechanic as well where the gun's powerful, so it can shoot through them and take out multiples at a time if they're lined up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always register, so they'll be lined up and you'll shoot one in the stomach, lined between all of them.
Yeah.
And that'll be the one that falls down.
Yeah.
And then the rest are still there, and you're like,
right.
I literally shot through the middle of them.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating.
Because you need your mechanics to be reliable, otherwise the player is second guessing themselves.
And this is the thing as well, like it relies heavily on stealth.
Yeah.
To try and get around, which makes for some really fucking funny scenes in it. Because if you're crouching a lot, next cycle they're crouching, and you'll be walking around and you'll just see them crouched down, walking along the floor.
They don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it.
Really funny, but there's no like active cover system in it. So you can't stick to the wall, you can't look around.
Yeah.
You're pretty much just floating.
Okay.
And it feels weird to play a game where you're not sticking to a wall. You know, especially a stealth game where you're creeping around and stuff, and it just misses the mark.
Yeah. How does combat feel like it's the right thing to do at certain points, or does it feel like they're trying to guide you in the direction of playing it purely stealthily?
It works either way.
Right.
Stealth, you pretty much have to, because if you kill everything, then on the next reboot they're gunning for you.
Yeah.
And if you shoot, you know, obviously it makes a noise so that alerts them, and if they're coming for you, like if 1 comes at you, you're fine.
Yeah.
If 2 come at you, it's a bit troublesome, because if 1 grabs you, as soon as you push them off, the other one can fucking
just get you immediately.
Yeah. And the more aggressive you play, like there's a melee weapon, so an orb that you can pick up, and it's just instant kill. Like instead of pushing, like circle pushes.
Yeah.
But if you're holding an orb, you just twat it over their head and fucking instant death. But if you do that on the next cycle, they've got it. So then
they've all got it.
No, random ones will walk up and pick them up.
Okay.
Because they copy your behavior.
So they know to pick up the orb.
So they'll go up and they'll pick it up. And then if 1 that's holding an orb sees you and they come at you, you can't push them away because their automatic thing is to twat you over the head.
Yeah.
Instant death. And the learned behavior thing's cool because you can fuck around in a map. Say there's like a piano or something. You press the piano, there's a bowl of grapes, you can eat the grapes. Then on the next cycle, these things are walking around, boshing on the piano, eating some grapes.
Oh, that's cute.
Crouched down, creeping around the floor. And you're essentially creating distractions for yourself.
Yeah.
So if you take some time out, bosh on these keys, and then it reboots, then you're in a better position because they're going to be distracted by things.
Yeah.
Which means that they're not going to be as focused on you. Also means
preoccupied with learning the piano and eating grapes.
Yeah. So, you know, that's cool. And it does work against you as well.
So, okay, taking all that into consideration, and overall, what's your opinion of the game?
I like it, but I hate it at the same time.
Okay.
When it works, like when you get into, like I said earlier, when you get into a rhythm, it's awesome. It's really good, and it's kind of dependent on the layout of the level that you're in.
Yeah.
Though, you need to hide a lot. You need to do stuff. In the later levels, there isn't many places to hide.
Yeah.
So when they come at you, you're screwed basically. Your melee attack's weak. Like if you creep up behind them, you can take them out, like choke them down, kill them. But if you try and melee them when they come at you, just push them. You can't grab them or anything, and that's down to your stamina. So each time you do a push, you lose a stamina bar.
Right.
So then you can only push them 3 times quickly, and then you're fucked anyway. So it feels like some of the mechanics are going against you, and like the design of the world is against you.
There's like quite a lot of sort of resource management in it, involved in like keeping your blaster shots or your gunshots like active, like charged and stuff, and making sure that your stamina's up before you get into a counter.
It's like a risk reward thing. Almost. But overall, it's great. It looks lovely. I think the environments look amazing.
Yeah, it looks really pretty.
N, not so much. She looks a bit janky. I doubt they mocapped her because she walks really weird.
Yeah, it's small studio. Likelihood is probably not.
I sat down and like, even my girlfriend commented on it, then got up and started doing the walk, and she's like, it hurt her hip.
Yeah.
So like, N doesn't look great, but the environments look incredible.
Yeah.
The voice acting is superb. I can't remember the names of the 2 who are in it, but they do such a good job. And the way that the story unfolds through their conversation is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The combat's annoying, and the stealth mechanics could be better. And apart from the repetitiveness of it, overall it does play really well. You know, it's not the best game I've ever played, but it's definitely something that I'm having fun with. It's a short game that starts to drag on. Yeah. Which isn't great.
How long is it?
It's like 6 to 8 hours.
Okay, so it's not too much then.
Yeah, but by the end it just really starts to drag.
You kind of feel it.
Yeah, and then like they introduce a couple, like a new thing. I don't want to say what it is, but you know, you think you're at the end, and then they'll put you in a room with more fucking blue orbs, and you do that, and then you think you're at the end. And then you've got to collect more keys, and then you think you're at the end, and then there's more. And you're like, this ends more than Lord of the fucking Rings.
I was just going to say, Lord of the Rings of video games.
Yeah, and it really starts to outstay its welcome.
Yeah.
But that's purely just because of the repetitiveness of the objectives. If there was more objective, you know, diversity in it, then fantastic. But yeah, it really started to grate on me by the end, and I just wanted to get through it. And because I just wanted to get through it, I was missing collectibles, and I was getting frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
Because you can't rush a stealth game.
Yeah, it's difficult.
And I was trying to rush through it, and then I kept tripping up over myself and making dumb mistakes.
You keep fucking up, and then it takes longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, like I fucking hated it earlier.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I calmed down, and I was like, no, it's a good game. It works. It's fun.
Yeah.
But you do need to. It's not something you can rush unless you're shit hot.
Yeah.
You know, if you're really good at it.
So, from the sounds of it, they're trying to do quite a lot with a little resource. What, like the little resource that they have, small team. Like they've got puzzle, stealth, like action combat. Like if I'm a fan of game X, I might like enjoy this.
I think like fans of just like the stealth genre. So. Metal Gear, definitely. There's definitely some elements of Metal Gear. It reminds me a lot of Splinter Cell in certain elements of it, and I think Volume, you know that the Mike Bithell game. Yeah, because again that was heavily influenced by Metal Gear. Yeah. So fans of that kind of like those games, I think would get a kick out of this, and a little bit of just like aesthetically, like Mass Effect-ish.
Yeah, I was gonna say, looking at the trailer, like it looks. Yeah. It looks like a sort of, I don't know, like a dream sequence from Mass Effect.
Yeah, so like fans of you know, stealth genre games and sci-fi in general, if you enjoy a good sci-fi story as well, it's a good game. It just falls short of the mark. Yeah. But that being said, it's made by a very small team of people. Yeah. So I commend them massively on what they've done.
So based on everything you've said, would you recommend this game
to a select audience?
To a select audience.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, not at all.
But the people who it is for, the people who it is going to attract, they're going to find something they're going to enjoy.
Yeah, definitely.